Hi, my name is Serena Fick. This year I did a humanities pathway focused mostly on theology and history. I worked with Mrs. Robyn Harless at the high school and did an internship with Reverend Dr. Dave Delaney at the Virginia Synod Bishop's office on the Roanoke College campus. Next year I will be majoring in anthropology at Warren Wilson College. I think that's a good mix of history and social sciences that will help me on my path to hopefully becoming a pastor. I spent my time this year really delving into what it means to bring God into every aspect of your life. I got to help Dave plan and organize several youth events. I helped my church with youth group and with services, and I got to write an article for the Virginia Lutheran Newsletter that was about a lecture I went to that connected God and the current climate crisis, which is also something I'm very passionate about. With quarantine setting in at the end of my senior year, I've found it a lot harder to connect with God. A lot of my connection to God comes from my connection with other people. It's hard for me to just sit down and pray on my own. So I wanted to get in touch with a lot of people who've supported me this year and create a kind of prayerful meditation from their words that I can use as well as share.
And we just need to have faith, the importance of faith, and always knowing that God is on the other side. Like there is a God who listens and responds. Prayer is a chance for us to like relieve ourselves of our burden, like because God says, "Come to us." Burden. So even though He already knows it, it's more for us to like relieve ourselves of stress and anxiety and be able to lead a more Jesus life, I guess.
It's even just talking to Him. That might sound silly, but sometimes I find myself, even if it's not in my head, just thinking aloud and talking to Him and, being patient. Okay, I'm not going to get an answer right away, and then sometimes He answers the prayer, just not in the way you're expecting.
I'm identifying with the Christian mystics throughout history who have experienced a lot of confusion about where God might be active at this point. So I'm drawing on the writings and the stories of saints of old who have said, we don't really know what to pray for right now.
I think for me personally, having a prayer relationship is difficult because it's like having a one-sided conversation with an all-knowing God, which is hard. In our prayers, we need to release that.
I guess the other dimension of it is very personal in terms of how does this kind of a thing change your view of God or what you think God's up to in the world. And it's hard during this time because we're going to have the church is not working like it normally does.
I feel like church can take so many different forms, right? Whenever like 2 or 3 are gathered, and the gathering can look like different things. It can be something within our family, or I feel like we can have virtual connections too. Like, let the church evolve for a little bit.
People have speculated, maybe we'll come out of this maybe a better church, a stronger church, maybe a little bit streamlined, less anxious about things that aren't as important, but maybe more interested in some things that are. I hope that really happens.
I'd like to say that I continue keeping on praying more than, my once a day or whatever, because I always feel like that's my way. I got to get my day going. But I also know I am human, and I'm going to let world-type worries come back and of, being busy with work and children and everything else that we get involved with when we're not stuck in our own houses with a lot more time to think about life. And I'll probably not be as good, and I need to be, but I'm also thinking this has provided more time for me to think about these things.
I think I'm learning more about what the wider church looks like and how it can take different forms based on different circumstances, our ability to evolve as a people and the ways that we communicate. Because now we're apart, like losing that connection with my church family, like seeing their faces every Sunday, that routine has been really hard. But in some ways this has also been a chance for me to grow more individually in terms of developing my personal faith.
You know, when I was a teenager, being part of the church was because of those relationships. It was one, and you know, especially with my peers, other youth I knew, but the adults were enormously gracious and helpful during that time as well, and that's how I kind of found my value in life. And so that's what led me into doing youth ministry myself, and also has kind of sustained me throughout all these times. And you know, I can feel that absence.
I feel like that even though we might actually have more time to do other things, we're losing the structure of everything else, and sometimes you're just overwhelmed with what do I do and where do I go at this point.
One of these days we may see what God brings out of this, but I have yet to realize that.
I think God should be a source of peace and comfort for you at this time. Like, if it's not something that God has intended for humanity in any way. Like, well, I don't know. Like, this is natural, and God is here to provide comfort and protection for us to a certain degree, and also to see this as an opportunity to grow personally and your relationship, to figure out how important it is to you, and to put effort into redefining it in new situations.
People miss the sacrament, yearn for the sacrament, and also yearn for each other.
So what have I learned? Definitely that God is always there, even when the world feels upside down and your friends and your mentors feel so far away. God is a constant. And we have a lot of blessings in this world, including the technologies that allow us to stay connected and to adapt as a church. So if you're a student who's considering doing a pathway project next year, I could not recommend it more. It's a great way to embrace your passions and start paving yourself a path for the future.